For today's class, you'll probably want to bring a blanket or some kind of cushion for your knees with you. But for now, we're going to start laying down. So finding your way to your yoga mat or the surface you'd like to begin on. I'm just going to lay down in some comfortable way. Shavasana or constructive rest pose or something else entirely. Just getting as comfortable as you can here. Maybe sighing a couple times with some sound. Kind of being dramatic with it. And doing that as many times as you'd like before settling in to a bit of rest, a bit of centering. So maybe closing your eyes as you start to tune into your breath. The breath is such a powerful and central piece to yoga, to life, at large. So even so, we can spend some time here consciously breathing in and out. Diaphragmatic breaths through the nose, down deep into the lungs, letting the belly expand with your inhales. Letting everything soften with your exhales. Just keep going and seeing if you can continue to slow and deepen the pace of your breath without struggling. And as you're breathing in, feeling the expansion through the belly, see if you can expand the sense of expansion beyond just the belly, so that at some point, maybe it feels like you're kind of exuding energy from all parts of you as you inhale. And exhale, coming back to your center for another round of breath. Checking in, scanning through your body, just noticing any parts that are calling your attention. If you need to take any adjustments, you always can. Just kind of notice, is there anywhere that is kind of holding tension in this moment? Is there anywhere that feels really good? And reflecting a little bit on your day so far. Start to investigate your energy. How does your energy feel today? And if your energy took form with color or shapes or beyond, what would your energy look like outside of your body? And you're welcome to get super creative and out there. It's just a fun imagination exercise. And imagining and visualizing your unique energy again for a bit longer. And as you do, I invite you to consider imagining what it would look like if your energy became clearer. more potent, less debris. And just see if you can kind of alter your visualization. You have more of a centered energy visual. And you might flip back and forth a few times between however you are feeling and this state of calm, centeredness. Just see if there's any relationship there or any feelings on where you prefer to be. Just seeing if you can become a little more neutral with both of those feelings. And if you'd like to set a dedication or intention for today's practice, now is a great time to bring something to mind. And we'll take 3 clearing breaths now, in through your nose, sigh through the mouth. Take your time with it, 2 more rounds. Eventually coming back to a steady, normal pace of breath as you begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Let your head rock from side to side a couple of times. Find your way to a long body stretch, reaching arms and legs in opposite directions. I always love to do banana pose here. So we can walk the heels over toward the right edge of your mat, grab hold of your left arm or wrist and giving that arm a little pull toward the right. So we're creating this side bend in banana shape. Focus your awareness now on the left lung and create space there with your inhales. And exhaling, of course. 2 more breaths, focusing on that left side, left lung, creating space. And switching sides, walking your heels toward the left edge of your mat, grabbing hold of the right arm or wrist and directing your right arm over toward the left, once again creating this banana side bend shape. And now we'll be focused in on the right side and the right lung. See if you can create a gentle sense of stretch with your inhales. And eventually we'll come back to the center, maybe 1 more round of breath here. Finding your way back to the center. Let's hug the knees in toward the chest and take a little bit of free movement here, rocking some weight around your back, your low back, and the sacrum. And maybe circling your knees a little bit, hugging your knees in close, letting your knees go out a little farther. Tuning into that massaging pressure, spending any extra time, any places you find need it. Okay, we're coming up to a seat next, so maybe rocking and rolling up and down the spine a couple times, or turning to either side and finding your way up through the fetal position. Once you're in a seat, we'll just bring the legs around, coming to our tabletop. Here is where we'll want a little bit of extra cushion for our knees. So finding a little something like a nice smooth blanket here. You have like a gardening kneeling mat, those can be super good too, or maybe a second yoga mat on top if you would like. So let's find extended child's pose. So the knees are coming out wide, the big toes are touching behind you. We're gonna sink the seat toward the heels, but don't settle in quite yet. We're gonna go back up. So just come on back up. You might kind of press up with the shoulders, almost creating like a cat back when you come up, and then shifting back again. Just do that a few times, going at your own pace, forward and back. And you could continue this movement or end up in your extended child's pose, perhaps with the forearms on the floor or your hands way out toward the top of your mat, head and heart sinking down. Find that expansive belly breath again. Okay, we're gonna do something a little bit new here. We're gonna try to keep the nose as close to the floor as is comfortable. So, you know, maybe a couple inches away is just fine. Let's see if we can kind of slither forward to the belly, keeping the nose down, kind of close to the mat, and eventually sliding your legs back. So we kind of end up ready for our baby cobra series. So pressing your hands down, inhale, rise up to baby cobra, lifting the head and heart. Exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, press your way up to tabletop and all the way back to child's pose or extended child's pose with your knees out wide. Big breath in and out. With your next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms around and end up standing up on the knees. So take your time. We're going to send the hips forward. Just take a gentle back bend here. So we're just kind of looking up, reaching the hands together behind or up above. And then exhale, lower yourself back down. Take a couple breaths as you come to child's pose again. So we're going to flow with that. Let's say 2 more times. You always have the option to stay in child's pose where we'll meet up again. So with an inhale, sliding forward to the belly, keeping the nose somewhat down as you go. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra, lifting here. With your exhale, press your way all the way up and back to child's pose. Big breath in and out. Inhale, sweep your arms around, come to stand on the knees, taking a gentle back bend, pressing the hips forward. Exhale, lower yourself back down, child's pose. All right, one more time through. When you're ready, sliding forward to the belly. Inhale, lifting, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra. And exhale, child's pose. One breath in and out. Inhale, rise up, hands together overhead, little back bend. And exhale, bringing your hands back down. We're going to come to tabletop next. So bringing hands below the shoulders and knees, below the hips. Let's do a few rounds of cat and cow. We're inhaling as we lower the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Exhale, cat pose, rounding up through your spine, pressing and reaching through your shoulders, pressing the floor away. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Keep going and really make this a breath-focused exercise here. So we're following the breath, we're using the breath. Sometimes it's helpful to kind of not over, but kind of like dramatize your breath, kind of overdo it slightly. Not overdo it, but you know what I mean. Just kind of like amp it up so you can hear it. And then we're coming to our tabletop position. Let's start to extend the right hand forward and the left foot back. We're gonna do a couple things here. Inhale when you get there, kind of a balancing tabletop position. Exhale, lower both down. Inhale, lift back up. With your exhale, send the arm and leg that are lifted out toward the sides and just see how your muscle engagement has to go. Inhale back to the center. Exhale out wide. Set your left foot down on the floor. Let's take a moment here to just rock back and forth. Left foot kind of parallel to the edge of your mat. We're feeling a little bit of stretch here through the inner thighs, maybe the groin. And we'll come to a semi-neutral position here. Take a look over at your left foot. You might even walk your hands a little bit toward the left, not too much though. And we're gonna rotate the entire leg here. So the toes are down right now. Moving from the hip, we're gonna lift the toes up toward the sky. So the knee is ending up pointing up and the toes are pointing up. So just go up and down a couple times, seeing if you can initiate the movement from your hip bone. Do that a couple times, up and down. Okay, you can add a little rocking to it if you want, just seeing what it feels like at different angles. And then eventually plant your left foot back down. Inhale, lift your hands up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that again. Inhale, hands reaching overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, here's where a little bit of balancing, well, it's gonna be a lot of balancing here. It's gonna come into play. So we're gonna keep our hands at our heart or grab onto something for support. Let's see if we can bend that left knee and step your left foot in front of you. So you end up in this kind of lunge position. Okay. Once you get there, inhale and reach your hands overhead. Exhale to low arrow pose. So our arms sweep forward, down, and back. Hug your shoulder blades together behind you and kind of retract your neck slightly, like you're pushing your chin in. So your neck and spine are aligned. Inhale, sweep your arms down and up. Exhale, low arrow pose. Inhale, back up. And exhale, low arrow pose. I'm gonna breathe like normal here. We're gonna step the right knee, or we're gonna lift the right knee. So curl your right toes under. If you want, you can hold on to your left knee or some blocks or other support, or keep your arrow arms. So we're going to go from low arrow to high arrow or regular arrow. So with the right toes curled under, take a breath in. Exhale, straighten your right leg, arrow pose, lifting the knee. Inhale, sweeping arms up. Exhale, arrow pose, arms down and back, hugging the shoulder blades together. One more time, inhale, lifting high. And exhale to arrow pose. We're going to end up in one-legged mountain pose with the right knee lifting. So you can either take one big step up, or you can step up about halfway or so, and then lift that right knee. Hold here for a couple of breaths if you can. Hopefully you're feeling kind of warm here. Let's have one more breath in. And exhale, lower the right foot down. Inhale, reach your hands together overhead. Exhale, hands come down to your heart center. Take a clearing breath in through the nose and out through your mouth. One more like that. And being with yourself here with your breath for a couple more rounds, coming to center, finding that still place inside. Inhale, reach hands overhead. Exhale, open arm twist toward the right. Looking back toward the right fingertips. You might even wiggle the fingers. Inhale, unwind, reaching your hands high. Exhale, open arm twist toward the left, gazing back and wiggling the left fingers. Do that 2 more times on each side. So we're inhaling to center. Exhale, twist to the right, wiggle the right fingers. Inhale to the center. Exhale, open arm twist to the left, left fingers wiggle. One more time, both directions. You got it now. Inhaling to the center and twisting on your exhales. Keep going. Once you're inhaling back at the center, let's take an exhale and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, bring your hands to the floor or blocks. Step one foot back and then the other, lowering to tabletop. So here we are in tabletop. We're about to do the other side, that whole series again. Just take a moment to prep. And then we will lift the left hand forward and the right foot back. So we're in our bird dog position. Press into the hand and knee that are on the floor so you're finding some lift through the spine. Take a breath in. Exhale, pinky and toe touch down. Inhale, back up. Exhale, swing the left arm out to the left, right leg out to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, tap your fingers and toes to the floor. Last time, inhale to lift. Exhale, way out wide. Set your right foot down about parallel to the edge of your mat here. And start a little bit of rocking forward and back. Tuning into the inner right leg, inner thigh, maybe the groin a bit. Whatever feels like too much on your wrists, you can always come up to some blocks. And just as we did on the other side, let's take a look now at the right foot. And moving from the hip joint here again, we're going to twist so that the right toes and the right knee are both pointing up. And then back down, so the whole leg is moving together, up and down. Just do it a few times, maybe rocking a little bit with it. Plant your right foot back down on the ground. Start to stand up on that left knee, reaching your arms around and up. Hands come down to heart center with your exhale. Inhale, sweep arms up. And exhale, hands back to heart center. Breathe like normal as we begin our balancing. So try to move very slow as you start to lift that right leg, maybe dragging your toes on the floor. Take your time and then plant your right foot in our kind of neutral lunge position. Hands could be at your heart or reaching out for support around you. Inhale, hands reach high. Exhale, low arrow pose. We're leaning forward, the arms sweep down and back, and then hug the shoulder blades together behind you. Remember this position. Inhale, sweep your hands back up. Exhale, arrow pose, or low arrow rather. One more time. Inhale, up. Exhale, low arrow. So make a strategy here. We can either lift that left knee right up to our regular arrow pose, or bring your hands to your right knee or to blocks as you lift. Curl your left toes under and lift your left knee up. And then bring your arms back, arrow pose. Inhale, sweep your arms up, lifting high. Exhale, arrow. Reaching the crown forward and the fingers back. Inhale, rising up. And exhale, arrow pose. We're ending up next in our one-legged mountain pose. So choose if you want to take a half step in or just come all the way up. One-legged mountain. Just do your best. Breathing here. Trying to create some kind of sense of symmetry through the upper body. Hold here as long as it feels comfortable. Maybe a bit of a challenge. And taking a breath in. And breath out, lower your left foot down. Inhale, join your hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. 2 clearing breaths in. Sigh it out. One more like that. Take a few more moments here at center. Noticing how things are physically, mentally, energetic-wise. Take another big breath in through the nose and a sigh through your mouth. Go ahead and blink your eyes open. If they were closed, your hands can come down. So that was the bulk of the flow part of our class. Now we're going to do some stretching and a little more chill stuff. So step one of your feet out wide. Make sure you're not on any of your props. You might want your blocks in front of you here. Always good to have them at the ready, I say. So our feet will be more or less parallel to the edges of the mat here. Let's put the hands on the hips and just take a gentle back bend. So we're kind of just pushing the hips forward slightly and lifting up through the chest. So instead of thinking about going back, we're kind of lifting up and back. Come back up and we'll forward fold, keeping a neutral spine here. as we fold forward, and then lowering your hands down, maybe to the shins or the floor or your feet or blocks. You could take a slight bend or kind of a deep bend through your knees. And imagine that this is kind of a ragdoll pose today. So maybe you kind of sway side to side. Maybe you grab opposite elbows. Where are you feeling what you're feeling? If you grabbed opposite elbows, go ahead and switch your grip. Other forearm comes on top. And then bringing your hands to the floor or blocks, we'll halfway lift. Straightening up through the spine. Bend your knees a little bit here. We're going to start bending from side to side. So really bend into the right knee, shifting over, and then really bend into the left knee, shifting to the left. Just go back and forth a couple of times, finding your range of motion, side to side. We're going to add a little bit of a twist here. So walk your blocks or your hands over toward the right side, bend into your right knee. I like to kind of stack both my blocks on the lowest setting here, pretty much right in front of my right foot. Plant your left hand down on your stack of blocks and open your right hand up toward the sky. Take a few deep breaths, wiggle your fingers, rotate out your right wrist. Create more space between the palm that's pressing down and the fingertips above. One more breath in, and then breath out, lower down. Walk your blocks or your hands over toward the left side now, bending into your left foot. Plant your right hand on your blocks or the floor, and then open your left arm up high. Wiggle your fingers, circle your left wrist. Press down through that right hand and reach up. So you're almost creating like a sense of buoyancy. We're not kind of putting all of our weight on the right hand. Spacious neck and shoulder. One more breath in and one more breath out. Hand comes down to the blocks. Toe heel your feet in toward the center. We're going to find a squat here. So if you know the kind of squat you like, go ahead and get right into it. If you're not sure, maybe just starting by bending your knees and placing your hands on your knees and kind of stay up here, or do a little more twisting. You might come down a little deeper, maybe making yourself a seat to sit on, maybe the edge of a couch or something. We'll puff the chest up and take a couple of breaths. Finding somewhere in your body that feels challenged and somewhere in your body that feels at ease. One more breath in and breath out. Come on down to our hands and knees one more time. We've got to do just like a little gentle downward dog action here. So bringing your blocks to the top of your mat. Curl your toes under. Start to pick up your knees and reach your tailbone high. Find your breath as you slowly begin to find a bit of movement if you like. Maybe a little bend and twist of the knees. Maybe you shift forward and then back again. See what comes to mind. You might walk your feet out really wide, so we're in like a nice wide-legged downward dog, forward fold. Maybe you toe heel your feet back in. Let's have just about one more breath in. And exhale, lower your knees to tabletop and sink on back to your favorite variation of child's pose. Maybe knees out wide or knees together. Maybe even bringing some cushion underneath your chest or underneath your seat. Creating support wherever you need it. Let's have 5 breaths. Letting your face melt. If you notice your attention shifting from the present, just notice. And get right back into your breath. 2 more rounds of breath. Start to walk your hands back or come on up. We'll sweep the legs around, coming to a seat, and then right down to your back. You might go kind of slow if you want a little core challenge here, or you might just get there a little quicker. When you arrive, we're just going to take a little bit of free movement, maybe hugging your knees in toward your chest. Maybe you just kind of lift your limbs, circle your wrists and ankles. We're just taking some free movement here. It doesn't have to make sense. Just see if you can follow the vibe. It's kind of fun to just try something, even if it doesn't make sense. And then bring your feet to the floor, knees bent. Arms will go out wide. We'll find a twist here, so scooting your pelvis over to the left side of your mat. Start to lower your knees, twisting them toward the right. Making sure your left shoulder blade is touching the floor. If it's not, you might put a little bit of cushioning underneath your knees so your twist isn't quite as deep. Or you might just put your left arm on your left side. Option to turn your face in the opposite direction of your twist, so toward the left. Notice how a deep breath really changes in a twist. And we'll start to think about switching sides. First, turning your face up toward the ceiling, bringing your knees back up. Scoot your pelvis way over toward the right edge of the mat, and then lower your knees toward the left. Checking in with that right shoulder blade. We want that right shoulder blade touching the ground. Option now to turn your gaze toward the right, away from your twist. Release any tension you can find now. Take a couple more deep breaths, noticing how it changes again with the twist. Just one more breath. And making your way back up to neutral. Shifting so the pelvis now is at the center of your mat. You might toe heel your feet out a little bit wider or closer at any time as you windshield wiper motion through the legs here, knees just twisting from side to side. And then a happy baby, pulling the knees in toward the chest. If it's easy to reach your feet, grabbing hold of the inside or outside edges of your feet. If it's not easy to grab your feet or possible to do so, you can just wrap your hands around the back of the thighs or just hold on where you can. Pulling your knees in toward the armpits. You can take a little bit of free movement here if you want, or just hold steady in this stretch. And at some point, releasing your happy baby, moving through any last movements or stretches that your body wants, and eventually moving to a final rest position. Could very well be how you started today, in Shavasana or constructive rest pose with your knees bent and together at the center. Scanning through your body when you arrive. Creating a visualization now of what does your energy look like now if it were to look like something and take shape. What colors, what shapes. Almost like this visualization now is, remember like visualizers that would go with music and they're just like abstract shapes that keep switching. You might kind of piggyback off of that vibe, just kind of passively watching your own little screen of the mind saver, screensaver of the mind, letting any images of your energy kind of intermingle. Relax the muscles of your face and shoulders. And releasing the need to breathe or visualize or just do anything in particular. Just rest in awareness to the best of your ability for the next couple minutes, and then I'll call us back together. Redirecting your awareness back to now. What's here for you right now? We'll have about 10 more breaths. I'll do a little countdown here. Just imagine with each number, you're just getting deeper and deeper into this relaxed, restorative state. You might take a breath in with each number and out right after. See what works for you. Starting with 10. 9. Softer and softer. 8. Relaxing the arms and hands. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. And 0. If you're ready to move along, let's bring a small little wiggle into the fingers and toes. Slowly moving and stretching in intuitive ways for you. Maybe something like a long body stretch or a yawn or a twist. Taking your time and eventually rolling onto either side into the fetal position with your knees slightly tucked in. Take one full, unrushed round of breath in the fetal position. No sense of urgency here. Eventually using the help of your hands and arms to press your way up to a comfortable seat. Maybe closing your eyes as you join your hands in front of your heart. Sitting up nice and tall. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and be free, and may our own thoughts, words, and actions somehow contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. Together, bringing thumbs up to third eye center, and if it feels right to you, taking a little bow forward to seal in our class. Peace.